Geobyte.
Hi students, welcome to the Geobyte Diploma series. In this video, we are going to discuss volumetric strain for different bodies like circular cross section, rectangular cross section, etc. Before going to discuss the volumetric strain, let us recall the meaning of lateral strain and Poisson's ratio. You know this part already we discussed briefly in the previous videos. Longitudinal strain is also called a linear strain. Let it be E suffix L. E suffix L is equal to change in length by original length. Similarly, lateral strain E suffix D, it is also called circumferential strain, equal to delta D by D. It is for a circular cross section. It is for a circular cross section. Similarly, the lateral strain equal to delta B by B, change in width by original width, or change in thickness by original thickness for a rectangular cross section. For a rectangular cross section, change in width by original width or change in thickness by original thickness. Dear students, listen carefully. The ratio between this lateral strain and longitudinal strain is a constant. That constant is called Poisson's ratio. So the Poisson's ratio the Poisson's ratio the Poisson's ratio may be denoted by 1 by m. It is also denoted by mu. Poisson's ratio 1 by m equal to ratio between lateral strain and longitudinal strain. From this I can write that lateral strain lateral strain ED equal to 1 by m times the, here 1 by m is called Poisson's ratio, 1 by m times the longitudinal strain. It can be also written like this. You know, lateral strain equal to change in diameter by original diameter for a circular member into it is equal to 1 by m times the longitudinal strain, change in length by original length. But longitudinal strain, the stress by longitudinal strain is constant. That constant is called Young's modulus. Therefore, the longitudinal strain equal to stress by Young's modulus. I hope you understood. So the lateral strain delta D by D for a circular member equal to 1 by m times the longitudinal strain is sigma by E. So it can be also written as delta D by D. Of course, it is equal to lateral strain ED equal to sigma by ME, where 1 by m equal to Poisson's ratio. 1 by m is Poisson's ratio and it is varying from, for majority of the material, for most of the material it is varying from 0.23 to 0.35. For most of the material the Poisson's ratio is varying from 0.23 to 0.35. Remember, the Poisson's ratio is the material property, like how the Young's modulus is a material property. Now let us discuss the volumetric strain for different cross sections. Now let us discuss the volumetric strain for a circular bar subjected to axial load. In the previous article we have written that longitudinal strain equal to delta L by L, lateral strain equal to delta D by D, the lateral strain ED equal to delta D by D, that is equal to delta D by D equal to sigma by ME. With this information, let us decide the volumetric strain for a circular bar subjected to axial load. Let us take the circular bar. This is your circular bar and this may be the axis. You are applying the tensile load like this. Once you apply the tensile load, you know that length of the body increases, but diameter decreases. The original diameter, this is the original diameter, that is the original diameter, and this is the original length L. Now once you apply the external force, let us mark this D later because I need to extend the bar. So because of the tensile load, the body may be elongating like this. Because of the tensile load, the body may be elongating like this. This is how the body is elongating. Because of this elongation, the diameter of the body is decreasing from D to this is the diameter of this part is D minus delta D. That means decrease in diameter is delta D. Whereas length increasing from L to delta L. Length increasing from L to delta L. L to L plus delta L. This is the L plus delta L. That means while you are adding the tensile load, length of the body is increasing from L plus, the length of the body is increasing from L to L plus, length of the body is increasing from L to L plus delta L, whereas diameter is decreasing from D to D minus del D. Then the original volume, this is very important, listen carefully. Original volume, let V1 equal to area multiplied by length pi by 4 into D square, that is the original area multiplied by original length, that is the original volume V1. Under the tensile load, the final volume may be marked as V2 equal to pi by 4 into final diameter whole square. Final diameter is D minus delta D whole square. d minus delta d whole square into final length is L plus delta L. Now let us expand this one. It is equal to pi by 4 into a minus b whole square, a square plus delta d whole square minus 2 into d into delta d multiplied by L plus delta L. Let us simplify this part. Let us multiply this whole term with L. Pi by 4 into d square L plus delta d square L minus 2d L into delta d plus multiply with delta L, d square into delta L plus delta d square into delta L minus 2d delta d delta L. Now I am going to ignore, this point is important, ignoring the product of small quantities. Ignoring the product of small quantities and square of small quantities. That means I am going to ignore the square of the small quantity delta d square. This part I am going to ignore. Delta d delta L, this part also I am going to ignore. Then the final volume V2 equal to pi by 4 into d square into L plus, so this part can also be ignored, plus d square into delta L minus 2dl delta d, that is the final volume. Therefore change in volume dV equal to final volume minus initial volume. Here final volume is pi by 4 into d square into L V2 plus d square delta L minus 2d L delta d. This is the final volume minus initial volume pi by 4 d square into L, that is the initial volume. So you simplify this value, pi by 4 d square L, pi by 4 d square L cancelled. Finally it is delta V by V. Finally it is delta V or dV pi by 4 into d square delta L minus 2dl delta d, that is the change in volume. Now let us find the volumetric strain. Volumetric strain EV equal to change in volume by original volume. Change in volume may be written as dV divided by original volume V1. Here dV equal to pi by 4 d square delta L minus pi by 4 2dl into delta d divided by original volume pi by 4 d square into L. Let us simplify this part. It is equal to pi by 4 is cancelled, d square also cancelled, delta L by L minus pi by 4 is cancelled, d also cancelled, 1 d is cancelled, L is also cancelled. Finally it is 2 into delta d by d, because 1 d is cancelled. This delta L by L, what is the delta L by L, my dear students? Longitudinal strain minus 2 into delta D by D for a circular bar is the lateral strain ED. But longitudinal strain EL equal to sigma by E, that already we discussed. Lateral strain ED equal to sigma by ME. So it can be written as sigma by E minus 2 into sigma by ME, where here 1 by M is the Poisson's ratio, not M. M is not having any meaning here. 1 by M is the Poisson's ratio. Therefore, delta V by V, of course, can be written as volumetric strain is equal to, let us write the sigma by E outside, into 1 minus 2 by M. So this is the formula to find the volumetric strain for a circular bar subjected to axial load or axial stress. Here sigma equal to axial stress. I can also say tensile stress because we applied the tensile load. Tensile stress. E equal to Young's modulus. E equal to Young's modulus. 1 minute. Young's modulus, and 1 by M equal to Poisson's ratio. Poisson's ratio has no units. So stress unit is Newton per mm square, maybe Newton per meter square. Young's modulus unit also Newton per mm square. Poisson's ratio has no units. So that is about the volumetric strain for a circular bar subjected to axial load. Now let us discuss the volumetric strain for a rectangular bar subjected to axial load. Yes, volumetric strain for a rectangular bar subjected to axial load. Look at the diagram. I took a rectangular bar of length L, width B, and this is the thickness of the or depth of the rectangular bar. I applied the load on the axis. That kind of load is called axial load. Dear students, as you know that when you apply the tensile load on the rectangular bar, length of the rectangular bar is increasing from L to L plus delta L. Length of the rectangular bar is increasing from L to L plus delta L. But width and thickness both are decreasing. Width may be decreasing from B to B minus delta B, and thickness is also decreasing from T to T minus delta T. That means L plus delta L, B minus delta B, and T minus delta T are the final dimensions, whereas L, B, T are the original dimensions. Then first let us decide the original volume. Original volume V equal to original volume V1, original volume V1 equal to length multiplied by breadth multiplied by thickness. That is the original volume. Then final volume final volume may be marked as V2 equal to final length into final breadth into final thickness. Final thickness. Let us simplify this final volume. LB, I am multiplying with B, LB plus delta LB, this is one part, minus L delta B minus delta L delta B, this is another part. It should be multiplied with T minus delta T. Let us do that part also. It is equal to, let us multiply with T, LB, LBT, LBT. Of course, here if I open the bracket here, it should be plus, right? So LBT plus BT into delta L minus LB minus L delta B into T minus L into T into delta B minus T into delta L delta B, multiply with the minus delta T minus L into B into delta T, simple mathematics, elementary school level mathematics, minus B into delta L delta T minus into minus plus L into delta B delta T plus delta L delta B and delta T. Now as usual, ignoring the products of small quantities. Ignoring the products of small quantities. This is one small quantity. Delta L delta T is the product of small quantities. Delta B delta T product of small quantities. Delta L delta B also product of small quantities. Then the final volume V2 will be L into B into T, L into B into T, this is the resultant value, plus B into T into delta L minus T into L into delta B minus L into B into delta T. That is the final volume. Then let us find the change in volume. Change in volume sorry, dV equal to final volume minus initial volume. The initial volume LBT, the first term is cancelled, it is equal to, directly I am writing BT into delta L minus TL into delta B minus L into B into delta T. That is the change in volume. Therefore, volumetric strain EV equal to dV by ratio between the change in volume and original volume. Change in volume BT into delta L minus TL into TL into delta B minus LB into delta T divided by original volume L into B into T. Now you simplify this part. It is BT delta L by LBT minus TL delta B by LBT minus LB LB into delta T divided by LBT. So the first part is BT is cancelled, delta L by L minus TL cancelled, L, it is LT. Okay, 1 minute. This part is L into T into delta B. Oh, no, 1 minute, 1 minute, 1 minute. He is LBT only, LBT. The numerator part is delta B. Okay, correct, only L, yeah, TL cancelled. Once TL is cancelled, delta B by B, delta B by B, everything is correct. Minus this LB is cancelled, delta T by T, delta T by T. Now look at the resultant value, delta L by L, EL equal to delta L by L, that is the longitudinal strain. One of the lateral strain for a circular body is delta D by D. This is for a circular body. This is for a circular body. For a rectangular body, ED equal to delta B by B or delta T by T. This is for a rectangular bar. Now delta L by L equal to EL minus delta B by B is the lateral strain minus one more lateral strain. It is equal to EL minus 2 times the lateral strain. But the longitudinal strain EL equal to, of course, it is delta L by L, can also be written as sigma by E. Under lateral strain is also called circumferential strain equal to sigma by ME, where 1 by M is the Poisson's ratio. So it can be written as sigma by E minus 2 sigma by ME. So let me write the sigma by E outside, into 1 minus 2 by M. So this is the formula for deciding the volumetric strain for a rectangular body. Here stress equal, where sigma equal to stress, axial stress, axial stress. E equal to Young's modulus, E equal to Young's modulus. 1 by M equal to Poisson's ratio. So that is the volumetric strain for a rectangular body subjected to axial load. Now let us discuss the volumetric strain for a rectangular body subjected to triaxial load. Triaxial load means on the three mutually perpendicular axes loads may be acting. That part can be discussed like this. So let us discuss the volumetric strain for a rectangular bar subjected to triaxial loads. Look at the diagram, students. We have taken the rectangular bar subjected to three loads. The Px be the load on the x coordinate, Py be the load on the y coordinate, and Pz be the load on the z axis. Because of the loads, I am assuming that sigma x be the stress on x axis, sigma y be the stress on y axis, and sigma z be the stress on z axis. Remember, this diagram is drawn by ignoring the, or I am not following the engineering graphic sense, engineering drawing sense for constructing this diagram. Anyhow, with this, let us decide the volumetric strain in the x coordinate, y coordinate and z coordinate separately, because the volumetric strain EV equal to Ex plus Ey plus Ez. Volumetric strain EV equal to strain in the x coordinate plus strain in the y coordinate plus strain in the z coordinate. But you know that strain in the x coordinate equal to sigma x by E, this part already we discussed, minus sigma y by Me minus sigma z by Me. This is the strain on x coordinate. Similarly, strain in y coordinate is sigma y by E minus sigma x by Me minus sigma z by Me, and strain in the z coordinate equal to sigma z by E minus sigma x by Me minus sigma y by Me. Then volumetric strain EV equal to Ex plus Ey plus Ez. But Ex equal to what? Let us write that value. Ex equal to sigma x by E minus sigma y by Me minus sigma z by Me plus the Ex value Ey sigma y by E minus sigma x by Me minus sigma z by Me plus strain in the z coordinate sigma z by E minus sigma x by Me minus sigma y by Me. Let us simplify that part. Let us write the sigma x terms first. Sigma x by E minus sigma x by Me 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 plus sigma y terms. Sigma y terms are sigma y by E minus sigma y by Me minus sigma y by Me. Similarly, sigma z terms sigma z by E minus sigma z by Me minus one more sigma z by Me. You simplify this value. The first part is sigma x by E into 1 minus otherwise let me write one more step for your better understanding. Let us write one more step. It is equal to sigma x by E minus 2 sigma x by Me plus sigma y by E minus 2 sigma y by Me plus sigma z by E minus 2 sigma z by Me can also be written as sigma x by E outside 1 minus 2 by M plus sigma y by E outside 1 minus 2 by M plus sigma z by E into 1 minus 2m. Simplify this part. So it can be written as, for each and every term, multiplication factor is 1 minus 2m. Therefore, I can write that sigma x plus sigma y plus sigma z divided by e, this whole term into 1 minus 2 by m. So that is the volumetric strain formula for a rectangular body subjected to triaxial loads. So here sigma x be the stress in the x axis. Let us write where sigma x equal to stress in x coordinate or along the x axis, sigma y equal to stress along the y axis. Should be very careful. Axis. Similarly, sigma z equal to stress along the z axis. E be the Young's modulus, it is a material property. Young's modulus. And 1 by m equal to Poisson's ratio. 1 by m equal to Poisson's ratio. That is how you can decide the volumetric strain for different sections. So in this video we have discussed the lateral strain, longitudinal strain, change in volume for a circular body, change in volume for a rectangular body subjected to axial load, and change in volume for the rectangular body subjected to triaxial loads. After finding the change in volume, we decided volumetric strain for the circular body, rectangular body with one load, and a rectangular body with triaxial loads. Triaxial loads means loads are acting along the three mutually perpendicular axes.
Geobyte.